It's recess time on the playground, and all the kids are clamoring towards their favorite game. You remember? Hopscotch, the merry-go-round, tag, and the swings. But one game in particular catches my eye just by the cadence of the ropes hitting the ground. One after the other, not one but two ropes. That game is double dutch. As a child, I was mesmerized by the sheer fun and the complexity that the game represents. In my internal thoughts, I thought, man, I wonder if I'll be able to play. And then I watched others wait for their turn. And then I thought to myself, will I be invited to play? At this point, I've watched the game from afar, and I watched how different participants joined in the game. There were beginners that jumped in and seemingly got all messed up. The ropes tangled and dangled at their feet, while others that were more advanced seemed to have a rhythm or a cadence, not only with the game itself, but with the ones that were holding the rope. In a company or any organization, the ones that hold the ropes set the workplace culture. So let's dial into that a little bit. One person on this side is the ally. No. Let's say the accomplice, rooting for you, while the other is a supervisor. But they both have to work in tandem before the jumper jumps in and plays the game. And lest we not forget about the jumper. That's me, trying to find the right time to jump in the ropes. Now I realize I am ready. I've studied, I've watched, and I'm ready to jump into the ropes. So my palms are sweaty, my heart is racing, my body's moving back and forth, the ropes are going up and down, up and down, up and down, while the accomplice on one side gives me a nonverbal head nod, signifying safety and security. While the other, who is the supervisor, they're twirling the ropes. In an audible voice says, "You can do it. Jump in." At this point, my hands are sweaty, my heart is racing, and I decide I am ready to jump in. I jump in the ropes, and I'm not missing a beat. I'm able to turn around because we are all in sync. This young schoolgirl is now an administrator in the boardroom, sometimes feeling like she's in a league of her own. This time she has to enter a virtual space, but in order to participate, she has to unmute. As she walks in or sits in this virtual room, she thinks to herself, I am not a monolith. I am not a monolith. I am not a monolith. But in order to participate, she has to unmute. While she's in the meeting, she raises her hand, but she notices that there is a difference between recess and the playground. Now it's in the conference room. Now she has to unmute her voice. She raises her hand, and she is contributing to the conversation as a problem solver and a champion of her own perspective. At the end of the meeting, she closes her eyes because she realizes she is back on that playground. And she says to herself, double touch. Action. In the game of double dutch, all three participants have to be active participants to foster a workplace culture that is inclusive. Action. Now, you remember the ones that were holding the ropes, right? The supervisor and the accomplice. They both have to have the same rhythm, the cadence, prior to the jumper jumping in. Action. Marginalized participants like me have to feel safe and secure in order to unmute. Action. We all have a part of the solution. So will you help me unmute? That is my challenge. That is my recommendation. That is my request, is that we all play the game of double dutch to help somebody like me unmute.